cool little pinch grip block I made. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm not going to be working on that for the next 9 or 10 days. Hey, it's Kurt, the Waco kid, here on Mother's Day, about 3:30 in the afternoon on May 8th, Sunday, giving you my, I don't know what number update that is. This might maybe the second, well, it's the first update after my table practice. So I'm making these updates because I'm hoping at some point I can create some kind of system or routine for people interested in starting arm wrestling for the first time at age 40 or even 50 and older. But of course, before I develop any routine, I have to have success myself, right? And you guys will have to pardon the wind. It's very windy, and I can not only hear the wind, but I can also see the wind shaking the camera. So you might have to just kind of overlook that. But it is a balmy, sunny, warm, summer type day on May 8th, and this is 94 degrees, believe it or not, here in Central Texas. And the last couple of years, it really didn't get into the 90s until June. I mean, this much. And we had kind of a mild summer last summer. It wasn't bad. If we're going to get 94, and actually it's got a few more hours before it's going to get hotter, I would say that we Texans are in for one hell of a summer. I mean, it could be like 2018. 2018 here, I remember driving up to the Starbucks, and it was 109 degrees when I left here. 10 minutes later, I pulled in the Starbucks, waited in the line, and I asked the guy that I know, I said, how do you like this 109 degree heat? And he said, 109, it's 114. And somehow in that short amount of time, it got up to 114 degrees. So that's a hot Texas summer when you throw in 85 or 90% humidity. So anyway, that's what I'm actually speaking to you guys in right now, but it's a beautiful day. And so this is an update on me as a brand new arm wrestler, never arm wrestled before, getting into the fray, getting some skin in the game. Now, just because I haven't arm wrestled doesn't mean I don't know anything about fitness, about health, about strength, about body chemistry, physiology. I actually have a minor in health from this college that I went to. I won't tell you what my major is because that's my other occupation, and a lot of people do know me for that. But anyway, so when I make comments about Devin Larratt and other people, and I see them doing something in my mind that's not right, it's not just because I saw something on YouTube or saw something on Google and then giving you that information. It's because I've actually studied it. I've actually been trained. I know a little something about what I'm talking about, which means I have to apply the same knowledge and advice to me, and it's hard to do. So let me tell you what happened. Okay, I've had 3 real table practices, real pulling. And lucky for me, really lucky for me, at the training that I'm going to in Waco, there are 2 champions. The female champion for Texas is their number 1, and so I got to arm wrestle her. Not like a competition, but just kind of training, And wow, man, she's tough. She really is strong. I have a feeling she beat most of you guys out there who don't know much about arm wrestling. She's that strong. And then also one of the number one guys in Texas as well. So that was a real eye-opening experience. I'm a very strong individual. I'm also very flexible. Did you know I can do the splits?
I told you I could do the splits.
Who would have thought a guy 6'3", 245 pounds can do the splits? I'm very flexible. Like I said, I have a minor in nutrition and health, and I can do the splits. My best bench was 405 a long time ago, like more than a decade ago. But I touch on the bench every now and then. I just touch on 315 with a spotter, just make sure I can get a few reps, just that I'm holding my strength. In fact, many years ago, when I was at the U of A in Tucson, I belonged to their gym there. It's like a little city. And I went in there on my way up to 365, which is what I was doing at the time. And I just had someone record me. I was doing a little blurb for something else. But I just went over to 275 and just warming up with it on my way up to 365. So 365, as you guys know or don't know, that's 345s on each end and then a 25 on each end. So that's the kind of strength that I had, and I have still carry most of that strength. Not to mention, I'm able to do a lot of pull-ups, a whole bunch of all kinds of stuff that you would consider, someone strong for. And then you add in the flexibility. And I used to be a long-distance runner, so I don't do so much of that anymore because of my knees. But I still will go out and hike for 2-3 hours. When you add all that in, you would think that that kind of individual would, and you have to be strong to do the chin-ups as well. You would think that kind of individual will go in and kick some butt on arm wrestling, and I'm here to tell you, after 3 table practices, that did not happen. So, in fact, I'm even going to show you doing some of my lifts and even the flexibility part. Right away, I'm sure I bench more than most of you guys out there, unless you're on the juice. You're shoving those pancakes down your throat. Now, I can't compete against those guys like Larry Wheels. I mean, come on. I mean, I probably would already be dead of a heart attack with the amount of drugs he's taken. And some of these other guys, I can't compete with these people. But normal, everyday, non-athlete, I'm a non-athlete, everyday type of people, I tend to be a lot stronger than. So after 3 table practices, and I kind of already knew this going in, but the bench press is not going to help you out, my friends. So if you're like me and you can do 225 on the bench a million times, or let's say you're one of those guys that likes to get up to 315 at Crunch or Planet Fitness or Gold's. I don't even think they have Worlds anymore. Worlds was one of my favorite ones from a long time ago. I don't think they have Worlds. But anyway, it's not going to help you on the table. It really is not. Let's see what else. Now, I didn't do a lot of curls prior to going in to my arm wrestling practice. You saw me make an analogy of the curl, but so many of you, I'd say 90% of you don't get it. When I did the 102-pound curl and the 15-pound curl, it wasn't about the fact that you needed to curl for arm wrestling. It also wasn't about the fact that Devin or Levon were curling for arm wrestling. I was making an analogy of the different levels of strength and able to hold resistance. And most of you can tell from the comments that went right over your head. All you could see that I was just curling like I'm trying to curl for arm wrestling. I wasn't trying to do that. I was doing other things like I got a chinner bar over there. In fact, I may have to show you one of these times when I'm training. I actually have the Travis Bagent set up for chins. So I got the ab, what do they call it, the ab hangers, where if you want to put your elbows in and then do Roman chair lifts where you put your legs straight out, or if you wanted to do abs, you can put your elbows in and hang from the bar. But Bagent, if you watch him, he says put your fist in there and do pull-ups. So I've actually been doing pull-ups the Bagent way. So anyway, I'm here to tell you after 3 practices what happened to me. And this is just kind of chronicling somebody in the future, 40 years of age, 48 years of age, 52, that's been watching arm wrestling and say, hey, by day I'm an accountant, by day I'm a lawyer, by day I'm a construction worker or plumber, whatever it is. But you know what? I think I want to get into arm wrestling. And then they get to my channel, so you're going to see a chronicle of what happened to me and what could happen to you if you've never done any arm wrestling. So I walked into my first practice feeling very, very strong, very good, health-wise, everything, really strong. And I'm here to tell you it was my best practice, because each practice after that I got weaker and weaker. Yes, it's true. You would think that I would get better and better. No. So that first practice, I felt like I could really pull. My hand felt strong, like I could really grab on. I didn't have any aches or pains, really, or anything like that. And, I was there for a couple of hours. The second practice, I still felt decent, but I noticed I just didn't quite have the power. And then my left hand, which is a little bit weaker, it felt even much more weak than it normally is. And then I started feeling some stuff in the shoulder. But anyway, it wasn't the best, but I hung in there. I did leave the practice a little bit early. And then I just started feeling not muscle. The muscles feel great. It's the bones, the bones and the tendons. Um, yeah, it's a weird kind of feeling. You feel like you start to lose your strength, but your muscles, when your muscles really get a workout, you'll have the lactic acid, and you'll maybe if you work out so hard, someone could touch you like that, and you're gonna feel it. It might hurt, you know. None of that. My muscles felt like they never got really that much of a workout. It felt like my bones did, my ligaments did, my tendons did. So that the third practice I went to just a couple days ago on Friday, and I wasn't even there maybe an hour. Well, let's see. I'd say maybe about an hour. I was done. When I say that I was done, I just could barely lift my two arms, and the last guy arm wrestled was the littlest guy there, half my size, and he was just pinning my arm down. I mean, I just had no strength. So that is my update on what has happened with me. I went in strong, powerful. I could curl 102 pounds. I wasn't curling it to think that would make me good. It's just that's where my strength is. And I like curling, I like benching and other stuff like that. And I'm here to tell you, yesterday I got up, tried to do a little curling. My strength is down to about 45 pounds, folks. I mean, give or take 47. Strength after being 3 times on the table, my strength is chopped in half. I mean, if you want to look at it that way. I just felt like I could not get any pull. Everything ached. Not the muscles. The muscles feel fine. Everything else ached. My ability to be strong is just gone. I know it's temporary. So now I told you at the beginning that I'd have to give, if I'm able to give Devin Larrett and other people advice that I think is logical, makes sense, I have to give my own self advice. So at this point in time, I have, based on my calculations, overtrained somewhat the tendons and ligaments. And really, there's only one recipe to alleviate that. Number one, you got to stop, and you got to rest. And then two, there's some plan Bs in there, like maybe some light stretches, maybe some light lifts, very, very light, things like that, just to get the blood flowing, maybe some finger massage, things like that. But basically, you got to stop. And so that's tough for me to do because I have the mentality of really wanting to double up, double down. When things get tough, man, work out twice as much. And I could do that when I was your age. If you're 28 years old looking at me right now, if I was 28, oh, yes, ma'am. I'd rest 2 days this weekend, and I would get back on the horse and start riding tomorrow. And I'd pretty much be good. And that's the nature of this whole system that I'm developing here, using myself as an experiment. That happens. You can do that when you're 18, when you're 25, when you're 28, maybe 32, maybe 35, give or take. But as you approach 40, you'll start to notice that doesn't work anymore. If you're on the juice, now I'm talking about people who are natural, who are not taking hormone therapy, who are not on, what's that one crazy one that, is it called Sten? No, something ACE. Fen ACE, Sten ACE, I don't know. I saw recently that's a real popular one. Anabolic, Dianabol, androgens, all this kind of stuff. So, human growth hormone. I'm not on any of that stuff. Okay. Now, if you're on that and you're 40, well, then everything I'm saying might just be going out the window because you might have a different experience if you're taking all the drugs. I'm mainly speaking to people who are normal people, non-athletes, people who are not on the juice, people who are not on the pumpkin and pancake sauce. Okay. Just normal people taking your vitamins and your protein supplements and things like that. Not on the juice. So if you're natural and you're not on the juice, you will start to notice as you get closer to 40 that you can't do what you would have wanted to do when you were 24 or 28, which was just grind it out. It just doesn't work that way once you hit 40. Your body just doesn't recuperate fast enough. So my advice to myself, the Waco kid, I don't want to do it, but I've already told them at the practice I'm going to have to skip out for probably 3 to 4 weeks for the next 10 days, I'm not going to do anything. You see all the stuff behind me? I got a lot of stuff that I can do just on this table, which is I feel like is pretty good. It's somewhat relevant. I'll be going into more detail about that in the future. But I'm not going to be even doing any of this stuff. So it's basically I'm going to be doing some stretches, stretch out the tendons, stretches, maybe some very, very light squeezes for the hands, just very light stuff, very light resistance, maybe with some endurance type of repetition, but very, very light. Maybe a little cold, heat, ice, heat, that kind of stuff. And that's about it. So basically I'm going to not be doing anything for about the next 10 days. Now here's my plan of attack. So if I was looking at somebody else in my situation, that I would be telling them the same thing. Stop everything for at least 10 days. Now after 10 days, I'm going to do a check. How do I feel? Can I pull? Can I pull? Like right now I feel it like just like that. I feel like I don't have a lot of strength. I just don't feel, all my strength is gone. So in 10 days I'm going to do a check and I'm going to see if all this is healed up, feeling pretty good. And if it is, then I'm going to get back on the horse and start riding with this stuff, the gym equipment. But the equipment I feel like should transfer well to the table. After that, now I'm going to give myself a 9 or 10 day window before I do this again. And when I do it again, if I improve and I'm stronger, then I know I'm onto something. Then I'm going to shorten that time frame down to about 7 or 8 days and wait one more time to do this again. And after 3 sessions of these with this big gap of rest in between, if on that last one, when I've had 7 or 8 days rest and I do this and I still end up feeling pretty good, that's when I'm going to go back to table practice. And it may be that I have to cycle this way again. I might hit 3 or 4 table practices and be completely blown out again and have to repeat this process. But that's what I'm going to do, folks. So, I mean, if I saw somebody else, I still feel like Larrett is overtraining, but I can get to where I can get it, how he's so excited for this match. But I believe that you make your strength on your rest and recuperation. That's my belief. Based on my past history. When you feel like this, you have to stop. You don't want to, you have to stop and just put it on the back burner, do something else. And you just have to do it. That you get your strength and your real power comes from your rest, recuperation, and even your sleep. I'm doing the experiment on myself and we're chronicling what's going to happen. And if something doesn't work and we hit a detour, that's fine. I'm with the knowledge of my background with nutrition and physiology, I'm sure I'll be able to come off that detour and get back where I need to be. But this is my plan of attack. 3 arm wrestling practices on the table with 2 champions in Texas. Taught me a lot. Actually, I feel like I'm a little bit better arm wrestler. So I'm going to be applying my strategy, take 10 days off, not doing anything, not even this stuff. No. Going to come back, we're going to hit it hard, and then we're going to wait 8, 9, 10 days, somewhere right around there, and then do it again. If I notice my strength is coming back and I'm feeling good, then here's what I bet. If these tendons get healed and I get ready to get back on the table, I bet that I'm going to be stronger than I went the first time, and I'm going to feel a lot better. That's what I'm betting on. So that's about it. You got to take off for you new people who are watching me at some point in the future, maybe 10 years from now, 5 years from now. If you feel like you've gotten weaker or you feel like you just can't do what you did first practice or 2, you got to just take off. And it doesn't feel good. I actually sent them a message saying, hey, look, I hate to do this, but I got to do it. Got to take off for a good several weeks. But don't worry, I'm coming back, but I got to take off. And that doesn't feel good to tell people that you're working with that you're kind of bailing on them, But you got to do what especially for folks over 40, you got to take things differently. And this is the different way that I'm taking it. I think it's going to prove in the future, when I get to the future videos, that this actually worked. So hopefully you were able to get past the wind and the noise, and I see the camera still shaking from the wind, so hopefully you can still hear me. And this is my update after 3 practices on the table with very, very good arm wrestlers. These aren't people just down the road in the bar. Like I said, 2 of these people are Texas champions, current champions, and it's a good eye opener for me to go in and get to have some of their knowledge transfer over to me, but actually just be able to get on the table and be able to feel that strength and know what I need to do. Anyway, I hope you were learning from this. Hope you found some value. If you did, go ahead and give it a like, because I've heard that you give a video a like and all that kind of good stuff. Maybe even leave a comment. That helps this video get shown to other people. Maybe other people like yourself that are trying to get better and that are newer at arm wrestling. A long video here, but I'm not going to be doing these updates every week. They're probably going to happen maybe once a month, maybe even less than that. So might as well make it a nice, long, detailed video for people watching this sometime in the future, so they get the real feel. This is unscripted. I'm just talking right from here and right from here, and so you know what I'm really feeling, what's going on. All right, thumbs up, like, subscribe, leave a comment. I'll see you next time.